morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Kim. Today is Wednesday, March 29th, 2023. And we begin with two high school teens from New Orleans possibly solving a math riddle that stumped adults for more than 2,000 years. Calcia Johnson and Nakia Jackson from St. Mary's Academy believe they've proven the Pythagorean theorem, which deals with right triangles and states that the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of the other two sides. No one's been able to prove it without using the theorem itself, which is no proof at all. Calcia and Nakia, however, use the law of sines and the equation sine 2x plus cosine 2x equals 1. Their findings are under review by the American Mathematics Society. In the meantime, both girls are giving props to their math teachers for pushing them toward excellence and told local TV station WWL there's nothing like it, being able to do something that people don't think that young people can do. Gross out question of the day. Knowing that the sell-by date was thousands of years ago, would you eat a meatball made from a long extinct woolly mammoth? Now you can, but even the scientists who whipped it up by mixing prehistoric DNA with some lab-created protein say they wouldn't. Normally, we would taste our products, James Ryall, the man behind the meatball at Australian startup Val Foods, told CNN, but we're talking about a protein that hasn't existed for 5,000 years. I've got no idea what the body's reaction to it might be. Basically, this woolly frankenfood is a publicity stunt to draw attention to the possibility of inventing meat in a lab, which might be a more planet-friendly approach than raising livestock. And as far as this particular mammoth meatball goes, it's now rolling its way to a museum in the Netherlands. Just in time for spring break, the tracking company OSearch is keeping tabs on a supersized great white swimming off the coast of the Carolinas. Breton is his name. He's more than 13 feet long and weighs in at about 1,400 pounds. He was first tagged off Nova Scotia in Canada and has traveled up and down the East Coast in the years since. On Facebook, OSearch said that many sharks use continental shelf waters around the Outer Banks as a spring staging area before making their migration north for summer. And to prove that Breton isn't going it alone, Simon and Jekyll, two 8-footers, also pinged near the Pamlico Sound over the weekend. Some big-name celebrities are taking aim at the tactics used by tabloids. Elton John and Prince Harry are among a half-dozen high-profile people who've shown up in a London courtroom to shine a legal spotlight on the way the Daily Mail allegedly invades the privacy of those in the public eye. Allegations in the lawsuit include the bugging of homes, cars, and phones, and paying police for information. The Daily Mail's parent company denies all the charges and wants the case thrown out. Tabloid journalism takes its name from the format of a small newspaper, typically focuses on celebrity lifestyles, crime, and gossip, and the headlines can be quite sensational. Pre-trial arguments run through tomorrow, then the judge decides whether or not there's enough evidence for the case to move forward. At least one country is ditching the twice-yearly time toggle for good. While much of Europe and the U.S. continue to debate the spring-ahead, fall-back ritual, Greenland is going all in on more daylight. The nation moved its clocks forward for daylight saving time with the rest of Europe last weekend, and that's apparently where they'll stay. Officials say the permanent change will give Greenlanders another hour of daylight in the afternoons and more time to do business with other countries. How many people will the decision impact? Honestly, not many. Even though Greenland is the world's largest island, 80% of it is covered in an uninhabitable permanent ice sheet, so its population is only 56,000, less than that of many towns in the U.S. That's it for KidNuz. Now today's KidNuz quiz. The Pythagorean theorem has to do with which mathematical shape? Right triangles. Scientists just created a meatball out of what? DNA from a woolly mammoth. What's the name of the 13-foot great white that pinged off the coast of North Carolina? Breton. How much of Greenland is covered by an ice sheet? 80%. In today's KidNuz kicker, proof that you don't need a glove or even hands to catch a home run ball and make the highlight reels. During Saturday's spring training matchup between the Royals and Dodgers, it was a four-legged fan who came up with the prize. Dodger Michael Busch sent the ball over the fence in the seventh inning, which led to the typical mad scramble to retrieve it. But instead of a person coming up with it, it was a pup in a Dodgers t-shirt. And he wasn't about to give up his souvenir easily. It took more than a few head scratches for him to release it so his human could do a celebratory fist pump for the cameras. And then back in his mouth it went, where it reportedly stayed all the way home. Opening season for the majors is tomorrow. Before we go, we want to say hello to our KidNuz teachers, starting with Mr. Jose and his Panthers at Putnam County High School in Granville, Illinois. Ms. Tishner and Jake at Owensville Community School in Owensville, Indiana. Mrs. Bain Thomas at South Elementary, where they are future ready and have Mustang pride in Brighton, Colorado. Mrs. Lang and Mrs. Duffy and their Harding Hawks at Harding Elementary in Kenilworth, New Jersey. And Ms. Melissa and her Marching Patriots at Tuckahoe Middle School in Richmond, Virginia. Thanks for listening. Please consider a tax-deductible donation to help support your favorite podcast, and we'll see you back here for more KidNuz tomorrow morning.